The Ho-Chuk Story of Redhorn. And Redhorn, when he was young, was known by the name He Who Gets Deer Lungs Thrown at Him, since his brothers would pick on the weak child by throwing deer lungs at him. But one time, Kuno, his oldest brother, challenged the spirits and Turtle to a race for the hand of a princess in marriage. Turtle had already started the race and was ahead of everybody. But he who gets deer lungs thrown at him decides to enter. He knocks an arrow and shoots it toward Turtle, and then becomes the very arrow he shot. Redhorn wins the race, but Turtle is turned around and carries off the princess. Kuno goes to the Turtle's lodge and asks for the princess for himself. And then Redhorn reveals his true self. He grows small human heads on his earlobes and a long red braid, and that is why he is known as Redhorn, or he who has human heads for earrings. The little heads made faces and stuck out their tongues, and they made everybody laugh, and all that had happened before was forgotten. Redhorn goes hunting with Storms as he walks, and Wolf and Coyote. Turtle initially leads the party, but they were unable to find any game. So Redhorn and Storms as he walks go up to the clouds where they can see the herd, and they hunt and they bring back many deer. Turtle had disappeared before the hunt, and now he came begging for food. Storms as he walks, and Wolf said, "If you don't work, you cannot eat." But Redhorn says, "Each by his own means and his own ability, we would not have started the hunting party but for Turtle, so give him his due." Redhorn and the others went on the warpath against the people who said they could no longer hunt buffalo in their territory. They went 4 times before they won back the rights to hunt the buffalo. In the meantime, a grandmother who raised her orphan granddaughter urged the young woman to court Redhorn. Redhorn had not paid attention to the many other women who looked at him, but he fell in love with this woman, and soon they were married. And the woman, he learned, was the corn goddess. There were many who had been wounded on the warpath, and Turtle and Storms as he walks tried to heal them. But Storms as he walks could not heal them, and Turtle just made them worse. So Redhorn came to the injured men, and he healed them with his breath. And people came to the village, and they asked Turtle for help, as their village was being pillaged by giants. Turtle drummed and he performed a dance all night long, and he told the people they could return to their town as he had cast a spell against the giants. But the next day the people came back and said the giants were still there. Turtle offered to dance again, but they asked to speak to Redhorn instead. Redhorn went to the village with the people, and sure enough the giants were there. Redhorn asked them to leave, but they refused. Since they were so big, obviously, it would not work to fight them, so Redhorn and his brothers offered to challenge them to a game of chung-ki, and the losers would have to leave the village. The giants agreed. The chiefess of the giants was a woman with long red hair like Redhorn. She was the best chung-ki player for the giants, but she was so distracted by the little heads on Redhorn's ears that she lost her concentration, and the giants lost all 4 games. And that night, Redhorn and the giantess were married. The giants did leave, but as was the way of the lands, they challenged Redhorn and his people to another game, and the losers would give up their lives. This time, it was wrestling. And so they wrestled, and the giants won all the matches except for Turtle. And so Redhorn and his brothers were killed and sent to the hunting ground beyond this world. At the time of his death, both Redhorn's wives were pregnant. They gave birth to 2 sons who, like Redhorn, had red hair and small human heads on their bodies. The son of the corn goddess was called Civilized Boy, and he had human heads as earrings like Redhorn. The son of the giantess was called Afterbirth Boy, and he had human heads for nipples. And when the boys were older, they decided to go to the hunting ground beyond this world and bring back their father and his friends. And so the twins arrived, and they freed Redhorn and Storms As He Walks and Turtle, and they returned triumphantly to the village. The sons had heard that their uncle, Storms As He Walks, was the heir to the Thunderbird war bundle that could protect the people on the warpath. Storms As He Walks repeatedly went to the Thunderbirds and asked for the bundle, but they would not give it to him, saying that it needed a case. One of the boy's friends heard him say this, and he offered his own body as the case for the war bundle. So the sons, Civilized Boy and Afterbirth Boy, took their friend to the Thunderbirds. The Thunderbirds ate the boy and said that his bones would make a good case for the bundle, and so the twins returned with the war bundle. When it came time to go on the warpath, the people summoned the war bundle, and the Thunderbirds came down. They told the people that only the twins would be able to go on the warpath with them, since they were the ones who provided a safe place for the bundle. The boys went to many mystical places and had majestic battles against deities and spiritual beings, and they were victorious every time, and so they acquired much power and many skills. And there was a woman who had tried to pursue Redhorn over many years, but Redhorn had other responsibilities and not time for romance. And so his oldest son, Civilized Boy, took the form of an old man and went to court her. She kicked him out many times, but then Civilized Boy assumed the appearance of Redhorn, and the woman fell at his feet. Civilized Boy married the woman. She did not know that she had married Civilized Boy instead, until after the wedding. She tried to kick him out many times, but he kept returning. Finally, the woman realized that if she could not have Redhorn, then Redhorn's son would do. Afterbirth Boy is the shadow of Civilized Boy. For wherever you have civilization, you also have the afterbirth of civilization. Civilization is never a neutral act, for as much as it created comfort, it creates suffering as well.